All right. So the first thing I want to do to this is mount the other toggle clamp to where she'll be flush when she's sitting on flat ground. So for the first screw, because these are pretty short and small screws, I'm just going to kind of hold it up. Use my center finding bit just to get a hole started. And I'm going to hold it back up in that same position. Start a screw by hand. And this placement isn't really too crucial. I just want it, to where it's not interfering with it sitting flat on the table. One thing about these screws though, these are typical hinge screws. It's about the shortest ones I can find. So for them to not poke through on 3/4 inch plywood, you want to angle them just a little bit. And then that will allow this to clamp onto the mobile base. It's going to be a stop. So now with this little feature here, it will slide on. And when it slides back, I'll just engage my 2 toggle clamps. That's the first thing I need to do. The next thing I need to do is end up nailing up all these strips where they need to go. And I believe since the first one is 10 inches, I wanted a 1/4 inch off the floor. 1/4 inch off the bottom. So let's just say we want the center of that one to be, the center of that cabinet will end up being 5. So 1/4 inch up, and then the center will be 5. So the center of this one will be 5 1/4. That's where you want the center of my runner, and my runners are, I'm debating if I want to turn them this way. Let's actually see. So I did pre-cut all my drawers. I can kind of turn my runners. These are the ones that are going to be attached to the side of the cabinet. I can turn them, have them 3/4. I can turn them sideways to give me a little bit more room, depending on if after all of my mathing, if something ended up wrong. Let's see, this gives me 1 inch and 7/8 off the wall. You want to have 1.5 inches, so that leaves me 3/8. Split in half, 3/16. So that's actually right where we wanted it. That leaves 3/16 on either side. So with a 3/4 inch runner, if I push it all the way to one side, the 3/4 inch runner will still be in the groove. All right, so that's we're good. So I'm gonna set these flat. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So this is editing Kevin from the future. If you guys just saw how I actually did the measurements on the inside of the drawer box to try to figure out how much space I would have left over, I keep forgetting that as a woodworker, I don't really need to do a lot of math. I could add and subtract and do a lot of stuff, or I can actually just use the parts and pieces to the project to do the math for me. How I end up putting the drawer sides, the drawer front, and then the runners inside of the box, then I can just measure that leftover space. That would then tell me how much space I have left over versus trying to do a bunch of math. I actually spend the next 5 to 6 minutes doing a bunch of math, trying to figure out where the centers or the bottom of each one of my runners need to land on the straw box going all the way up. I end up, adding, subtracting centers and trying to count for spacing and all that stuff. Completely unnecessary. All I needed to do was take a piece of 1/4 inch plywood, being the space that I want off the bottom, then take my actual drawer side with the centers already laid out, place that directly onto the 1/4 inch plywood, and then I can use that to mark and lay out my runner. And then I can take another piece of 1/4 inch plywood, lay it on top of that drawer side, take my next drawer, put it directly on top of it, again with the center marks already laid out, and kind of use that to transfer that mark to the side panel. and then keep working my way up until I have all the center marks laid out, and then I can actually figure out where my bottom or where the top of all my runners go. And then from there, you know, there's no math involved. I'm just placing stuff, you know, on the box and kind of working my way all the way up without all the thinking, without all the measuring, and without all the back and forth. Remember sometimes that the simplest route might be the best one. So we're gonna get all this laid out, and then in the next portion of this video, we're actually gonna go to attaching all the runners. I didn't want you guys to listen to me, you know, struggle to lay all this stuff out for the next 5 to 6 minutes. Alrighty. Alright, my apologies. I had a friend come over, but while I was off camera, I did go ahead and lay out the rest of the lines. These lines represent the top side of my runner. And I probably can just put staples in it. I'm debating if I want to staple and glue. I'm thinking I'm just going to staple. Probably safer in case I ever need to remove these. So we're going to get it right on top of that line. Flush to the front side. Alright, that settles all the main runners. I guess I only need one of them here. Now I need to set this top one. And I think personally, 2 playing cards. Should be good enough. This top rail isn't really doing too much. All that this is doing is keeping the drawer itself from tipping as it comes out. So theoretically I can pull the drawer out this far and she won't fall out. So I'm gonna set that for each one of these. The only crucial thing here is to get it flush to the front. And that's like pressed down on it super tight. I'm just letting it rest there. Even if I did press tight, it will still give me a margin. But I do want to give them some room to, you know, because this isn't plywood, this isn't AZEK. So I would like to give these wood runners room to expand the contract. So even if they swell up a little bit, I think that's enough room for them to still work. I might need to actually give them a little bit more, but if I find it ends up being tight, I can always take the cabinet out, flip it on the side, and hit it with a router or something just to widen these out. Or it's not an issue. It's a non-issue. Just want to make sure I leave a margin just in case they do swell, because these are not plywood or AZEK. These being just, again, offcuts of some of the scrap wood that I know you guys just have laying around your shop, and maybe you need some shop cabinets, but you're waiting to build drawers because you need drawer slides and whatnot. So I just want to show you guys that you guys can one, use up all the stuff in your shop and still build really nice projects. And I was thinking about how I actually want to finish this cabinet off. I have some leftover mahogany, so I'm probably going to face frame all of this. Probably use a solid 3-inch piece or whatever to cover this, so you won't be able to see underneath the cabinet. And then I might miter and do like a tray up top, probably like 1-inch tall lip. That way I can just like leave drills and stuff right there on top of my drill press cabinet. Just trying to think of some things I want to make this look a little bit better. And I might go ahead and hit the outside with some sandpaper or sand everything. I might Danish oil it if I feel so inclined, but as of now, we're just gonna get everything functioning. And I probably won't even do the face frame and stuff like that right now, but I'm just showing you guys that, shop furniture like this, you can make it look really nice, but also build it out of a ton of scraps, and it's a cabinet. So this is just the bones or the frame. You can make the rest of it look really nice. Even with the drawer fronts and everything else I'm gonna put on it afterwards. But you guys will see after all this comes together. Probably not in the next, next couple videos, but when I probably get to face framing my workbench and building drawer fronts for the workbench, I might get into finishing up all the cabinetry inside the shop. I have a bunch of other projects I need to do. This one was just, I had a bunch of casters sitting around and I needed more storage space. So I figured, get the drill press done. Alright, that's all the drawer slides in there. Now allow for me to have 3 drawers. Next up, we're going to glue up and assemble all the drawers. So let me clear off the table so we can get that started. And if you have enjoyed this, let me know down in the comments. Leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.